and welcome to Let's Get Prepared. I'm Catherine, and today we're going to talk about what to do if the power or the heat or both go out. Now this is a really big topic and I can't cover everything today. It depends where you live and it depends what kind of heating you have and things like that. So I got a lot of good ideas though from the getprepared.ca website, and they have a lot more information on there. I hope you'll use what I have to say today as a catalyst to learn more about your situation, your home, and what you would need to do if the power or heat went out. So let's start with the power. The first thing you need to do if the power goes out is to determine if the power actually did go out, or did you accidentally trip a circuit breaker, or did a fuse go out. Once you determine that your power actually is out, then you need to see how widespread that is. Is your neighbor's power also out? If you look outside at night, is the neighborhood all dark? If so, step number 2 is somebody needs to notify the electric supply authority. Step number 3 is to turn off all tools and appliances and electronic devices, and also to turn the thermostat for your home heating system down. So we do this to prevent damage if there's a power surge when the power is restored. And also the power can be restored more easily if there's not a heavy load on the electrical system. And also, just it's no fun if you if you've ever had the power go out before and then maybe you've fallen asleep and then suddenly the lights all come on and the music's on or whatever, and you don't want to give somebody a heart attack. So just turn everything off. It's better that way. Except for number 4, a step is to turn off all the lights except for one inside and one outside. Have one on inside, maybe in a hallway or something, just so you know that the power is back on again. And also one outside so that any crews working in your area will know when the power has been restored. Tip number 5 is to don't open your fridge or freezer unless it's absolutely necessary. A full freezer will keep food frozen for 24 to 36 hours if the door remains closed. Another handy tip is to keep a bag of ice cubes in your freezer so that when the power comes back on and you open your freezer, you can see if that bag of ice cubes is melted or if it's been melted and refrozen. You'll be able to tell because they're not like nice ice cubes anymore. They're just like a big blob of ice. So if that's the case, then you'll know that your food has also been thawed and possibly refrozen, and so then it's not safe to eat. Tip number 6 is to never use charcoal or gas, barbecues, or camping heating equipment or home generators indoors. They give off carbon monoxide, and that is potentially deadly. You can't smell it, you can't see it, but it is a life-threatening situation. So lots of people have generators, and that's great. If you use one, just make sure you use it properly. Read the instructions and make sure you know how to use that. And also, just as a note, try to have a working carbon monoxide detector in your home, one that has battery backup. Number 7, if you use candles, make sure that they're in a proper candle holder with a nice solid base. Never leave lit candles unattended, and make sure they're out of reach of children or pets. And make sure you turn them extinguish them, not turn them off, extinguish them before you go to bed. And, battery operated flashlights and lanterns and things are a safer alternative than flame. Number 8 is listen to your battery powered or crank radio for information on the outage or advice from authorities. And try to conserve your cell phone battery for important communication. And last but not least, number 9 is gather your family together in 1 or 2 rooms to keep everyone safe and comfortable, especially if you've got little children or elderly people. You don't want people walking around in the dark and tripping and hurting themselves and being scared. So gather everybody together. And that brings us to our next topic, what to do if the heat goes out or the furnace breaks. So most of us who have furnaces with forced air, those furnaces have electrical components. So if the power goes out, probably your heat is out as well. If you have a different system, great. So the first thing you want to do is make a base camp. Focus your heating efforts on one main room. You might choose a living room with a fireplace, or a basement bedroom, or a family room, and encourage your family to stay in that room as much as possible. Remember that heat rises, so when the power first goes out, it might be one of your upper floors that's warmer, but as it goes on for a while, it'll be your basement that eventually becomes the warmest place, because the outside earth around your outside walls acts as insulation. So step number 2 is to block cold air. So add temporary insulation over doors and windows by closing drapes or hanging blankets over them. You can put a rolled up towel or a quilt or something at the bottom of doors or windows, especially any that might be drafty. And you can even get a roll of plastic and duct tape and just seal off windows and doors that way, or even seal off rooms. The third idea is to turn on fireplaces. If your home has a gas, propane, or wood burning fireplace that works when the power is out, great, then you have a built-in heat source. Number 4, layer on clothes. Start adding extra clothing to combat dropping temperatures. Don't forget hat or extra socks, and woolen blends are a good idea. Number 5 is to pile on blankets. Whether you're sitting around or trying to sleep, just use extra blankets for warmth, and remember that what goes under you is also very important. It's just almost as important as what's on top of you. And try to have everyone sleep in your base camp room. Which brings me to point number 6, is set up a tent in your base camp room if it's big enough, and have everybody sleep inside the tent. That just makes a smaller space to keep warm, and you can draw on each other's body heat. Number 7, stay active. Get up and move, dance, do some yoga, whatever. That'll help you feel warmer. Number 8, eat or drink warm things. If you've got a barbecue or a camp stove, then go out to your back deck or wherever and heat up some water and make some warm soup or beverage. And you can use that hot water as well to, tip number 9, fill up hot water bottles. You could even do what the pioneers used to do, is heat up rocks on your barbecue or in a fire, and wrap them up so nobody burns themselves on them, but they put them in the bottom of a sleeping bag or wherever, and that can generate heat as well. And number 10 is use your vehicle. Remember that we keep our vehicles, our gas tanks, above half a tank, and preferably up, near 3/4 of a tank, so that we have an alternative place to warm up if we need to. But please, please, please make sure you open your garage door, and just use all heating devices and generators and camp stoves and fireplaces and things safely. Make sure that your fireplaces are serviced, and make sure you know how to use things. Keep instruction manuals. Maybe it's something you don't use very often, so just make sure you know where the instruction manuals are so you can reread it before you use it. Now, if you do still have electricity but no heat, then there's 3 other things you could do. One is run space heaters, but just don't run too many at a time. You don't want to overwhelm the electrical system. Number 2, use heating pads or heated blankets, but make sure they're shut off before you go to sleep. And use your large appliances. They tend to give off heat. Do your laundry, run your dryer, do your dishwasher, or turn on your oven and bake something, and that can add some heat to your home. So those are some ideas. As I said, I'm just kind of the tip of the iceberg. Go on getprepared.ca or other websites and find out what to do if you had to evacuate because the temperature is plummeting and the heat's not coming back on, and you might have to empty your water pipes to keep them from freezing, and then what to do when you come back and to get things going again. So lots of good information that I don't have time to cover here today, but I hope that you'll do some research yourself, and I hope you'll join me next time on Let's Get Prepared.